Hey everyone, this is Aaron Fink from Grapple City Rewind. If you like what you hear on this episode, give us a follow, leave us a review on whatever platform you use, or cut a promo on us by calling 626-657-SLAM. Anything goes. It'll go a long way in helping us to be discovered by more wrestling fans like you. All right, cue that music.
Hello and welcome to Grapple City Rewind, taking you all the way back to the iconic pay-per-views and television specials that shaped professional wrestling history. I'm Bradley Palermo, here as always with Aaron Fink, and today the very first episode of our second season, the very first episode of 2026. Happy New Year to everyone, by the way. We are heading back to Royal Rumble 1991 from the Miami Arena in Miami, Florida. Fourth annual Royal Rumble. Total propaganda show for America, American imperialism, and Hogan himself. Lots of signs of the times. Lots of big stars from my childhood. Over 65 minutes of in-ring action on the Rumble alone. We'll be breaking down everything that happened, how it felt, how it came across to us then, how it came across to us now, and why this show feels very, very of its particular time in history. But first, Aaron, how about a little current product? We haven't been around in a while. There's probably a lot we could get to.
Yeah, there was so much. We didn't record any new episodes for pretty much all the month of December. So John Cena retired. He's done. That was the show itself. I liked the show. The match I thought was fine. I think as it was happening, obviously everybody wants to talk about the way it ended.
Right, of course.
When it was happening, I was I knew he was going to lose.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that he would end up tapping out. So I was definitely initially in the camp of, oh, that doesn't feel good. Like he's supposed to never give up, But then the more I let it marinate.
Yeah.
And then once I saw the little recap package that they did on Raw the following Monday.
Yes.
I thought it, I was like, okay, I get it. The recap package was like he was in the sleeper and, the smile started to go across his face. And then it
oh, yeah.
It was like your life flashing before your eyes. We saw all these quick cuts of all these things that he had done throughout his career.
Yeah.
And then he tapped and I was like, okay, yeah, all right. I can dig that.
I think it was poetic, and I think that it was kind of cringy and kind of uncomfortable at watching all these people cry. But I think I'm an emotional person who can easily be swept up into it. So I'm trying to put my defenses up. I was like, I'm not going to fucking cry about this wrestler who did not die. He's simply finishing his final match and he will still be around as a person. I'm not going to fucking fall into that. But I do love that the point of Gunther in this situation is to get heat because he's got to show up the next week and John Cena doesn't. And how better to get heat than to make the guy who never gives up give up. I mean, that's now you've got Gunther he's a bigger star than he's ever been. So to me, that's the goal. The goal is to make John Cena's retirement ripple through the company for as long as possible after he's gone. So
make it mean something. Again, I think I wasn't going to cry either, but I did feel weird. I was like, I don't feel good. I feel kind of yucky after the end of it. And, but then again, on Monday Night Raw, when Gunther came out and just, getting booed and he's like, I made John Cena tap out like a little bitch. I was like, okay, yeah, again, I get it. I think it served its purpose.
Yeah.
And I guess Gunther is going to be the new legend killer. He's already retired Goldberg and John Cena. And I assume he'll probably do it to Brock whenever Brock retires.
Yeah. I mean, AJ's retiring.
Randy could be coming up soon. Punk could be coming up soon.
I was going to say the legend killer himself could be killed by Gunther. I don't know. I mean, how many times can you do it before it's kind of like, okay, we get it, but it's gonna work more than just twice for sure.
Yeah.
At least one more. And Gunther the funny thing is he's not that much younger than these guys that are retired. It's just his career is fresher, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, he's probably got 10 years, but still, I mean, he is like 40-ish, right? I mean, he's not.
I think he's like mid 30s. Maybe he's 36 or 37.
Okay.
But yeah, it ultimately it worked.
38, so somewhere between the two of us. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, ultimately I feel like it worked really well. It made me dislike him more. I mean, it's sort of hard when you know as much as we do, and we're kind of like I feel like a lot of the time it's difficult for me to just be a fan and be in the moment and ride the wave of emotions, because I know so much about like why they do things that they do,
Yeah.
why they make creative choices like they do. So, you know, I besides grappling with that, I feel like I enjoyed how it played out overall, and I think it obviously was the right decision. You know, people, I don't know, I don't agree with all these people who are like, "Oh, he should have won. He should have won his
No.
last match." No, like
I like to see Triple H, get the "you fucked up" chance, because it's wrestling. Everyone can take a little abuse,
yeah,
But ultimately, I agree with the choice.
I mean, it was that was actually kind of interesting, right? Because on the one hand, I don't really know why they were saying that. Were they saying that because they wanted him to win, or were they saying that because he actually tapped out? You know
At
what
first,
I mean?
I felt like they really thought he was going to win, which was kind of like, had me scratching my head. But then I talked to a lot of people all day for my job, and the average Joe who hasn't watched wrestling in maybe one or two matches in the past 5 years, who tuned in because they know John Cena and it's his last match.
They thought he was going to win.
Well, they were like, why would they do that? Like, this is pre-written, like scripted, right? And I'm like, yeah, here's why.
Why would the crowd chant angrily? Or
Well, they were asking, like, no, like, just like the layman, like casual fan was asking me, why would WWE have him lose?
oh,
And I was like, okay, we gotta go back to basics here. Like, this is how this shit works. This is tradition.
yeah.
And then people were pointing to Sting. Sting didn't lose. I'm like, Sting retired like as a tag team guy who was trying to put over his tag team partner. It's a totally different situation.
Yeah, he didn't really have a singles run. It wasn't. He barely spoke, in AEW. Yeah, it's very different. I mean,
very far past his prime. No, like shade on Sting. He was good and everything, but it's like, it's a very different situation. John Cena quit like probably 5 or 6 years before he really had to, so he could do it while he still could do all the shit that he always did. And then people also ask me that weren't there for this whole ride, like we were, watching him live and on TV for an entire fucking year. They're like, he's coming back though, right? I'm like, no, dude, like, he's not fucking coming back. Like, he rode this shit hard. There's no way he's coming back. That's not a thing. Not after that much of a hoopla,
No, yeah. Well, yeah, that makes sense. AEW World's End was over the break, and another solid AEW pay-per-view. We had the ending of the Continental Classic tournament, which had some pretty exciting matches. Got to see Konosuke Takeshita versus Kazuchika Okada in the semifinals, and then Moxley and Kyle Fletcher is the other semis match. I enjoyed both of those. Okada and Moxley was fine. It's just, it was okay. The Moxley like kind of becoming a baby face in that pay-per-view was really weird.
That was awkward. Yeah. I don't know where that's going, but I guess that can be built into him versus the Death Riders, because the Death Riders thing has nowhere to go really. Otherwise, I don't think.
Yeah, I would have to imagine that they're probably going to initiate him splitting away, or them splitting away from him, or something. I mean, that's what makes the most sense. And then we had the 4-way World Championship match. Well, it was Swerve Strickland, Hangman Page, Samoa Joe, and MJF. And MJF came out with the victory, pinning Samoa Joe.
Which was we spoke on the podcast before. I was hoping that Samoa Joe would be a transitional guy, because I just don't see him right now at this age and level of personality carrying the company. And we get MJF, who is the biggest superstar on AEW's roster by far. I maybe put him, Tony, and Sasha Banks, what's her fucking name? Mercedes, I guess, are superstars. Everyone
Yeah.
else is like AEW superstar, but like MJF and those two girls are like, to me, like fucking superstars, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I can't remember. I don't think we talked about his promo when he came back. Like towards the end of November, he showed up on a Dynamite and basically ripped all three of those guys in the match to shreds.
I mean, he's on the mic, he's like CM Punk level.
Yeah,
And he's young, he's good in the ring, like whatever he is. The people talk about X Factor and all this shit, like whatever his star power, he's like in fucking movies and shit. He's, I don't know, he makes me love AEW like 10 times more. And it's not that I love to love him, like a lot of times I love to hate him, but he's so, like, I just feel so much more excited to have my tickets to Revolution, knowing
mm-hmm.
that MJF is fully in the picture, not like a guy who shows up with the Hurt Business or kind of peripheral MJF, like full on world champion, triple B, all the whole shebang.
Yeah, yeah. That I mean, that promo where he ripped all three of those guys, it was almost like the promo was so good that it was like it was kind of obvious he was going to win. Like if he doesn't win after ripping these guys apart, like what the hell are you doing? So I can't say I was surprised in a way, but in one other way I was, because it was such a short reign for Joe. But it again, it's like you said, he's probably the most popular person or the most well-known person that company has. This, and this is his second title reign, when Moxley's had what, 4 or 5, so it doesn't feel weird.
The only thing that I worry about with AEW is MJF, but then it bounces around with Joe and Mox. We've seen that before. And then you know what I mean? And Punk was in there before. We don't have him anymore. I don't know who ever takes it from him. Like, it's never as exciting as when MJF is holding. Like, to me, it's just exponential, on the excitement charts when MJF has it. That where do you even go? Like, who beats MJF? Hangman again? Like, I don't know. It's just,
I was thinking maybe Darby, because Darby hasn't won it yet.
Darby's a good one. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
I don't love Orange Cassidy, but Orange Cassidy hasn't won it yet.
I would hate if he had it.
Darby, I feel like makes sense though.
But yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes.
SmackDown this past week, we had first 3-hour SmackDown of the year. I guess they're all going to be 3 hours now, which is exhausting. But
I won't be able to handle all 3 hours of that.
Well, you just record it and skip over the stuff you don't want to watch. But actually, this was a good episode, pretty much overall. I don't think I skipped anything.
I watched it, and I was like, this is almost like shit's happening.
Yeah, well, the couple surprises, I guess really one big surprise, which is that we got to see the in-ring debut in WWE of Matt Cardona, not as Zack Ryder like he was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
Yeah, I think we spoke about that too, that after all the, Zack Ryder was fired 5 years ago from WWE. He's been on the indies. If you've gone to indie shows in the past 5 years, you've probably seen him. He worked super hard as Matt Cardona. And I was a little disappointed that he came back to lose as Zack Ryder against, who did he lose against?
LA Knight?
Oh, LA Knight, yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, it was. But, and I was kind of like, dude, he should have come back as Matt Cardona and got to like sort of reap the benefits of all this hard work and this name. And it's pretty rare for WWE to let you come and build on your real fucking name, because you can obviously walk with it someday. But
nowadays, anyway.
Yeah.
They did it in Black and Gold NXT all the time. They let everyone come in with their names.
Do you remember who was it recently? Somebody walked with their name from was it Indy Hartwell? I think somebody was. I was reading about it. It was a female wrestler. I think it was Indy. She had to sell the name that she already built on the Indies to WWE, because NXT hit her with a new policy a couple years ago and was like, you either have to sell us your name that you branded or take a new name. And so she sold it. And then when they called her and were like, yo, it's over, we're releasing you, she said she just said on the phone to the person on the phone, like, hey, I sold my name to you guys. Like, is there any way I can get that back? And they talked to her people, and I don't know the details, but they were like, they got it back for her.
Oh, that's good.
I was like, man, I bet how many people are like, I wish I would have fucking asked. Like, just assumed that, you know. But yes,
But that's what she brought it in though, right? She
brought
when
it
she came to
in. They
NXT,
bought
she
it
had already
off
been.
of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She brought it in. Yeah. So it wasn't like they came up with it, but
yeah.
Matt Cardona actually, like, for me, it was like a story, him like coming back and working his ass off to come back. So for him to actually be back now, the Zack Ryder thing was just like a little one-off. You know, you come back, you lose, that's over. Now you're Matt Cardona. Like, I'm stoked. I can't wait to see what he does next.
Yeah, I hope he gets some microphone time, and I hope that he explains all of this in a promo, because it is good storytelling and it's easy. You know, like, you can set up a lot of good feuds, at least for a few months, just based off of that alone.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And the other thing I liked from SmackDown was we got the SmackDown debut of Trick Williams, who interrupted Sami Zayn while Sami was giving a very passionate promo about how this was the year he was going to win a world championship, which I'm excited for, but also at the same time, I am a little tired of Sammy's shtick like being exactly the same. I kind of want him to change a little bit. I don't know what I want, which I guess is sort of bad, but I just want him to be a little bit different. It's not the look. I think it's the attitude or the way he talks or something.
It's the underdog gimmick, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
I think it needs to die with him winning the world championship, even if it's for a moment. If it's just a quick transitional thing, I don't know how that plays against Punk or Cody, but I'd like to see him like fucking, you know, like put away the underdog gimmick by winning. Maybe that's far-fetched, but
well, maybe. I mean,
I'm a big Sammy guy, you know.
I like him too. I mean, I like his work. I made you watch that Sami Zayn Shinsuke Nakamura match from like NXT 2015. That match is fucking ridiculous. So good.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't think Punk's going to be I think Braun Breaker's going to beat him on tomorrow.
Punk looks, I know Kevin Nash said this recently and got a bunch of trouble, but like, and Kevin Nash never got to wrestle, I don't think, as long as Punk, and started to look pretty bad and all that shit. But like, so Kevin Nash is projecting, I think, but Punk looks like shit. I mean, fucking dude, I love him. He has the most massive bags under his eyes.
Yeah.
Like, you could get some facials, some treatment. His, you know, I color my fucking beard, you know, like, it looks weird when it's huge streaks of gray on your black, like, because I'm not on TV, you know, like, I can fucking do it. Punk, you can fucking like get your, he's even said if Vince McMahon was around, they'd never let him on TV looking like this. Like, he knows himself that he looks like shit. And it's fine for me because you're seeing fucking Punk. But like, when someone turns on TV and they're like, what's wrestling? What's happening? What am I watching?
Who's this guy? This schlubby guy.
And you have this fucking old man with the fucking gray beard. It's like, and the puffy eyes. I'm like, dude, you look like ass and you don't have to, right? He's a good looking guy, but he's not doing anything to present himself like he's on fucking goddamn television. Yeah. It's a little annoying. And
he's
I feel
in mourning, okay? His dog died.
That's awful. And you
didn't know about Larry?
To Larry. I know about Larry. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I was, I don't know Larry, but as a CM Punk fan, it did hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I felt bad
just to see that Larry died. Of course, I felt bad about that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess
no, you're not wrong. He's a little schlubby. He could definitely take a few minutes to buy some under eye creams and trim his beard a little bit.
Dude, I've got all that shit. It's like, we're old. Like, just fucking do a little something if you're gonna present yourself in that way. But he's I don't know if the t-shirt, like, fuck off. Like,
it's not a big deal.
You can wear a fucking t-shirt. I mean, I guarantee it. Like, there's nothing wrong with his body. He just wanted to wear that fucking t-shirt.
He's wrestled without a shirt on many, many times since he's been back in 2023. So it's
he wore that shirt because he wanted to fucking promote it. It's not because all of a sudden he's got some weird belly or something. Clearly he does not. So I'll defend him on that.
No, he's in good shape. But yeah, I think he's going to lose. I mean, he's much more interesting. I feel like a lot of people think this, but he's much more interesting when he doesn't have a championship and when he's like, I need this and this and that, he can make better stories when he's not. I almost feel like he's weighed down when he has a belt because there's like an obligation to be at the top.
You almost forget he has it, and when he doesn't have it, you almost forget if he has one or not. It doesn't matter. It's just the name. He's always a champion in our hearts, whether or not he holds the title. So.
And now it's time for the rewind.
All right. So this was kind of my pick. I got it from a request from, oh shit, should I find out who requested it?
Yes.
Our buddy Nick. I don't remember where he lives, but Nick sent us a message on Facebook and asked for Royal Rumble 91. And I said, we'll do it, but we'll wait till Rumble season. And Rumble season is here. We have the Royal Rumble happening in Saudi Arabia.
3 weeks? Yeah.
In a few weeks. So we will probably hit 1 or 2 Rumbles this month. Certainly this one. This was in Miami Arena, Miami, Florida, for a reported 16,000 fans in attendance. It was the 4th time WWF, the World Wrestling Federation, as it was known back then, presented a Royal Rumble. This card featured 6 televised matches, a 7th one that was Jerry Saggs and Sam Houston that was not televised, a dark match. And it was a weird one. It was in the heart of the Persian Gulf War era, where patriotism and like war propaganda and sort of collided with golden era wrestling characters from my childhood, all in this kind of moment of like, it wove the war somehow into wrestling storyline, which I don't think was necessarily necessary, but it makes it for like a fascinating
snapshot.
Yeah, of like what was happening at that moment. And Gorilla Monsoon and Roddy Piper on commentary, an interesting pair. Show opens with the national anthem, American flags waving, extremely patriotic presentation.
USA chants after the national anthem.
Yeah, lots of white kids with bowl cuts with their hands over their hearts. Yeah,
I know you don't like him, but Roddy Piper reminded me of Pat McAfee. Like, I feel like Pat was listening to Roddy commentary when he tried to figure out his shtick.
I like Roddy. I don't like Pat. Yeah. But I could see what you're saying, right? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely some similarities. And there were times where it even sounded just like Pat to me. Like, I don't remember what it was that Roddy was saying, but I was like, oh, did Pat use a time machine to come back?
Yeah, Roddy had a lot of like sort of charisma, attitude. His shirt's kind of open. He's leaning kind of back in his chair, all cool. He's like smiling and sort of like, oh, I'm so excited. You know, like he was cool. I mean,
maniacal. Yeah.
He's pretty cool. I was kind of wondering, like, why didn't he do more of this work? You know, it wasn't bad with Roddy on the.
Yeah.
Maybe the play-by-play wasn't like that exciting, but when they would cut to him with Monsoon kind of just up at the desk, it was pretty cool. The key players are hyped right away. You know, Undertaker, Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect, Neidhart, Duggan, Roberts, Santana, Snuka, Savage, Bushwhackers. Like, they're just listing them all at us one by one. So, but the main event looming is the world champion Ultimate Warrior versus Sergeant Slaughter, which we'll get into later before the Rumble itself. But the very first match of the night was the Orient Express, Kato and Tanaka, with Mr. Fuji versus the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. I was excited to see them, although I will say this was a nearly 20-minute match and it wasn't very good. I didn't think
it was okay. You know, I think so. I watched it. I wrote my notes. I'll tell you what I thought. But before we signed on, I was looking at the Wikipedia a little bit, and Dave Meltzer referred to this match as the best WWF pay-per-view match since Savage and Steamboat from WrestleMania 3.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean.
So, you know, when I read that, I started thinking about it and I was like, okay, let me try to put myself like in the historical context of the time and place. Because if you think about it,
Meltzer gave this a 2.25 rating.
Did he?
Yeah. So I don't know where the fuck he's disagreeing with himself now, or
I guess it says in the January 28th, 1991 issue, he said it was the best pay-per-view match since Steamboat and Savage, but maybe that's wrong.
Oh, 2.75.
Okay, but even still, that's not very high. I'm curious what he.
I don't know. Maybe my information's
what
bad.
He gave Steamboat and Savage. No, you're probably right. I mean, I guess thinking about it within its historical context, you and I have seen so many crazy tag matches that
Right.
came after this.
Yes.
So I think that that definitely colors my opinion of it.
Yeah.
But I could
even some of their like synchronized drop kicks and stuff. I always thought the Bucks were taking a lot from the Rockers, but the Bucks do that shit. I hate to say this, but probably better than the Rockers.
Yeah, well, maybe
no Buck is as good as Shawn Michaels, like ever. But together, they're probably better than the Rockers. Sorry, I mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good. I think I'm sure. So looking at this match by itself, not having seen, like, I honestly don't know how many Rockers matches I've seen. So if this was my only sample of their work, I would say, yeah, they were good. I mean, they did some high flying stuff, some exciting stuff, things that we see all the time now. You know, there was a spot where Shawn Michaels I think he was punching somebody in the corner. He was on the second rope. Somebody was coming behind him. So he got up on the third rope and did a moonsault onto them. And like, I'm sure at the time that didn't happen very much. So people were flipping out about it, but we see that shit all the time. So I don't know.
That's fair. I think there was a lot that was cool at moments, but I guess to me, it was like the pace. It was like going 20 minutes was for an opening match was like a little much. And this just in. Okay, so I got the Meltzer ratings this week off of AI, and I think sometimes AI is just fucking wrong because, well, okay, so ChatGPT says 2.75. AI on Google says 4 stars. So I'm going to go ahead and say that it's probably right to say the 4 stars because this is everything else I'm reading on the internet now says this was the best match of the night, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and I think I tend to agree with you about the match. There were a lot of chin locks and arm bars and sleeper holds. It did get more exciting as time went on, but there was a lot of stuff that really slowed it down in a way that I didn't find particularly interesting. And again, maybe it's because like great tag matches to me now are FTR matches, and those slow down, but they're always super fast and intense. Like, it's just not the same. This is 1991, so I'm sure that for the time this was a very good match, and I didn't hate it. Certainly the crowd really loved it. They were extremely responsive. You can hear all the kids in the crowd like yelling when something exciting is happening. They love the Rockers. They hate the Orient Express. They're chanting USA.
Mm-hmm. There was a lot of action with Shawn Michaels getting beat down to death. Jannetty eventually gets the hot tag, scoop slams, drop kicks, power slams, near fall. Somehow he hung in there long enough to eventually get the pin. And yeah, it wasn't the worst match in the world, but we were 26 minutes into past the start time of the show, and we only had one match. So it's like, to me, it was kind of like, all right. Like,
it was a little long, a little bit, but it was exciting. Shawn did that thing that he does when someone Irish whips him into a corner, and he like does a somersault, but then goes over the top rope and then falls over.
Shawn does that one, and it's so good when he hits the rope and like oversells it, flips through the air. Bret Hart, I was just reading his book. He was not telling me, he wrote in his book that he was injured one night back in like the territory days, and like couldn't let his back and his shoulder hit the turnbuckle. So when they whipped him into the turnbuckle, he went in head first and did
the chest
face forward, the chest turnbuckle hit. And then he just falls backwards into the middle of the ring. I know we're not talking about Bret, we're talking about Shawn right now, but it just reminded me. And he said that to his knowledge, he was the first one that ever did that. So anytime there was a Bret Hart match, like when the heel was getting their heat on him, they would always do that. And
yeah, I love that move.
That was such a fucking good move. Yeah. But I digress. Yeah. So
Nick Nemeth took one of those, or Dolph Ziggler took one of those in his match against Solo in the Cena tournament. Dude,
oh yeah,
it was insane.
It's a good move, man.
Natty Neidhart said that Bret texted her and was like, "Did you see that match? Like, that was a good turnbuckle to the chest."
He still watches this shit. It's funny. That's cool. And then we got into a Macho King Sherry Warrior segment that is something that I remember watching a few times over the years. It's super weird. So Sherry is a valet for Macho King. I guess Macho Man won the King of the Ring tournament. Is that why he's Macho King?
I think so, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So for Macho King, and she's out there to talk to Warrior to make sure that if Warrior is able to retain the title tonight, that he promised that he will give Macho King a chance at the title, a match.
Right,
afterwards,
because Sergeant Slaughter said that he would give Macho King a match if he wins. So
right,
yeah.
So Sherry comes out, and it's, you know,
she calls Warrior out, and she starts flirting with him.
Yeah, and she compliments his eyes. She strokes his chest and his hair. She removes his jacket. She attempts to kiss him, but he twitches away. Then she drops her knees to him suggestively. She's down on her knees at his crotch. And like, I was just thinking, today, if that happened at a wrestling match, it would the fucking chant would be something fucking feral. You know, it would be like, but it was like really over the top. And Macho is like lurking in the background with this like extremely creepy grin. It's very odd. It's really weird. But Warrior does refuse her plea for
advances.
Yeah, and doesn't offer. He says no. He doesn't say a lot, but at the end he says no. And Macho Man storms out furious.
Yep. And then we got the second match, which was the Barbarian with Bobby the Brain Heenan versus the Big Boss Man. Two big guys.
Enormous.
Big Boss Man. We saw him as Ray Trailer a few episodes ago in Starrcade 97.
We have angry mail about that, which I'll read in the listener segment. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. They got mad at us talking shit about Ray Trailer.
They did, yes.
Well, whatever. So yeah, this match was fine. It was just okay. I to be honest, I didn't really like it. It was like, I mean, Boss Man was over for sure. Like I didn't know he was ever a babyface. Because anytime I had seen him, he was always a heel. But
dude, he's a fucking cop with a flat top.
Right. How could you be a baby face?
A Confederate flag patch, goatee.
Oh, I didn't see the Confederate flag.
I wrote that. On what planet is this a hero? It's disgusting. His gut is hanging out constantly. Like he's just a fat pig, dude. Like, I don't know. But Boss Man gets tangled in the ropes, which I thought was a great visual. But like Barbarian's still pounding him and the ref does nothing. Like nowadays you get 5 seconds or you get DQ'd if you it's different rules back then.
Yeah, and there was a bear hug from Barbarian that was like maybe like 2 or 3 minutes that felt way too long. It was just kind of a flat match for me. Barbarian went for a crossbody from the top rope and he hit it, but Boss Man sort of rolled through it and then pinned him. Got a quick little pin. And this is the second match in a row where it was like the babyface gets a sneaky pin win.
Yeah. Do you know this trope that appears constantly throughout wrestling, the irresistible force versus the immovable object? You get it, like you get it with Nia Jax, you get it all the time. I never knew where this came from, but I looked it up because I used it in this. I was like, wow, this has been going on for a while. Turns out it goes back to 3rd century BC China.
Oh,
it was what was it? It's a paradox that a guy in like the story, a guy has a sword that can penetrate anything. And he's selling it next to a shield that cannot be penetrated. So the paradox is, what happens when the two collide? Like, you're wrong about one of the two items that you're selling. So I think it's interesting that's come all the way from 3rd century BC China to wrestling, and now I just think of it as a WWE thing.
Yeah. Well, the first time I had ever heard it was Gorilla Monsoon, but for WrestleMania 3 with Hogan and Andre.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I did not know that. That's cool.
So this match did nothing for me, and it did nothing for Dave Meltzer at a 1.5 rating, at least according to my unreliable source. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and then we had a little bit of promo in the back with Sergeant Slaughter and General Adnan. Slaughter was a babyface for a while, but is now an Iraqi sympathizer, I guess, and very much hated. He was calling whoever the interviewer was like a puke or something.
Yeah.
And making that ridiculous face where he like juts his chin out, you know.
I think that might just be his face, but yes, yeah. You know, you've heard things about like his A&E documentary and stuff that this like really weighed heavily on him because he kind of deluded himself to believing he was sort of
a real military man,
American hero, because he was on G.I. Joe, right? And he was like, he was getting a lot of sort of military, you know, he was really riding that stolen valor high. And then when they put him as a heel, hated by patriots, it was apparently very difficult for him. I would have loved to play that role. I you know, I think the heel shit would be fun as fuck, but I guess it bothered him a lot, but he played it. And you know, Warrior's on there too. Warrior's cutting a promo too, acting completely unhinged, face twitching, incoherent. You don't understand what the fuck this guy's saying. And then this guy with all the Warriors looking up and because I have to think my
and then he starts screaming about stuff.
I don't know what you're fucking saying. And Piper is like selling freedom hard. Like you'd almost not know that this guy's not fucking American. You know, he's Canadian. He's been told, you know, something about, you know, make sure this show is all about like fucking
how great America is, and how we're gonna win.
Yeah.
And so we got, and this is another weird thing about the pay-per-view as a whole. The third match was the WWF Championship match, Sergeant Slaughter versus Ultimate Warrior. Before we get into the match, actually, around this time watching, I noticed something that I was kind of bummed out about. And maybe it's just because I grew up primarily watching Attitude Era and later stuff, but I really missed having like a small video package that, you know, like the small video packages that play before matches at pay-per-views where they tell you what's going on.
I'll get you right up now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I would have enjoyed some of the matches on this pay-per-view more if I knew some of the backstory. And WWE doesn't do this all the time now. They do it pretty often. And AEW, I feel like, does it pretty often as well for pay-per-view matches. So I don't know. It was just something I was like, oh man, I'm sure that they've been feuding for a while, but it just felt kind of dry. And so, you know, the match starts, Warrior is on the attack and seems like he's going to be doing fine. But then Sherry Martel shows up and distracts Warrior. He goes outside the ring, and I guess Sergeant Slaughter's distracting the ref. And then Macho Man comes out and throws a light on him, like a light with attached to a C-stand on him, and, you know, beats him up. And kind of strange. I mean, got a lot of heat, obviously. And then Slaughter starts to dominate for a while. This again was kind of just like a match to me.
Yeah. What is that thing that a king has that he holds up? The pole?
Scepter.
That's what he had.
Yeah, that was at the end. Yeah. So Sherry came out again after Warrior had started to kind of rally. I think he had done a few of his clotheslines and he did his shoulder tackle thing and was getting ready to do either his press slam or his big splash. Sherry comes out again. So does Macho Man. They distract Warrior. And then Slaughter distracts the referee again. And Macho King hits Warrior with his scepter right in the face.
Yeah, this match was, I mean, hardly worth talking about. Is bear hugs and elbow drops. I think this is when I texted you, like, oh my God, this fucking pay-per-view sucks, you know? This match primarily is to set up, I guess, WrestleMania 7, more than it is about, like, anything quality.
Isn't it? I assume it's Hogan Slaughter at 7, right? The American hero against the Iraqi sympathizer.
Yeah, they're putting the belt on. Yeah, exactly, on Slaughter. And this is the end of Warrior's like significant run in WWE. Like he never gets a rematch or anything. This is pretty much, you know, phasing out of Ultimate Warrior. I guess it sets up him and Macho, but like Macho was kind of at the end of his WWE like shiny period also.
Yeah.
He was going to switch to commentary soon. So, you know, everything always kind of goes in Hogan's favor for whatever reason. It's always about like putting things back to Hogan.
This Hulk Hogan, I hate you.
Having a world championship match in, you know, the third spot on this 6-match card, 7 if you count the dark match. I guess, especially back then, it was probably a dead giveaway that the babyface ain't gonna retain, because they're not gonna send fans away with this bullshit, really.
For sure. And then when so Slaughter gets, after Warrior gets hit in the face with the scepter, Slaughter just puts him down on the mat and hits one elbow drop and then pins him. It's so anticlimactic. And then the other thing too that made me laugh, I don't know if it was just the PA system or the way that the music was recorded, but his entrance music just sounded like an infinite drum roll that never ended. Did you notice that? It's just like
I didn't register that, but yeah, it's like, what the fuck? That's not what its music is, really.
It's so weird.
And his title was like purple, right? So like,
yeah, Warriors.
It was funny when Slaughter had it because it didn't really match Slaughter's like.
Yeah, it's like paisley leather strap.
Yeah, it didn't really match the whole like Iraqi camo guy thing. But yeah, Meltzer, may or may not have given this a -1 star, depending on your source. Let me get into the fourth match, which is the Monty versus, the Monty with Jimmy Hart versus Coco Beware. Monty's obviously a Canadian cop gimmick. The Montees were a tag team, but I guess first you just had the single one, Monty. Coco Beware's like a parrot gimmick.
I don't even know. Yeah, I know.
I don't know. Like, he's got a parrot on his trunk. He's kind of like a I don't know, muscular but like real stocky dude with a flat top and like neon tights and shit, and extremely cartoonish, which is sort of the signature of the early 90s WWF, but like a cartoon cop versus like a cartoon like parrot lover. I don't know. Jimmy Hart's wearing a jacket with his own fucking face on it, which is cool. That's kind of his thing.
It's typical Jimmy.
Different jackets, it's kind of like his airbrushed sort of faces on his jacket, and then there's a bird there with Coco Beware, which I feel. I don't think it's. I'm glad that WWE doesn't do so much work with animals anymore. I don't really think a bird needs to be
ringside. Yeah, probably not.
20,000 screaming idiots. Like, bird doesn't fucking deserve that.
Yeah, I'm surprised that bird didn't. I'm surprised he didn't get angry and try to claw somebody. But
I mean, the poor bird. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a dud for me.
Completely disposable. Yeah.
The crowd was dead. They were still in shock from the fact that Warrior lost. Even the finish was really bad. Mountie had he did a really weird choke slam that didn't look good at all, and then pinned Coco, and that was it. And I was like, oh, okay. Why this? It was just like a terrible spot for a terrible match.
It was bad, and I don't have a Meltzer rating on this one. But this was fucking. We can just move right along if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's do it. We had before the next match, we had a bunch of people who were going to be in the Royal Rumble give short little promos. We saw Hawk and Animal, the Legion of Doom. I honestly can't remember. I didn't write anybody down, but then we saw like 10 little short vignettes, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe the Rumble is going to be now, but it wasn't, because we got another match, a tag match, which was Virgil and the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase against Dusty and Dustin Rhodes.
Kind of a rare sighting to see the Rhodes tagging together, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially in WWF, because I feel like all of the times that we've seen Dustin have been in WCW, and they have been in, further ahead in time from this. So,
and he's not Goldust. There's very little Dustin Rhodes pre-Goldust in WWF. Yeah.
In WWF. Yeah, for sure. And then the whole story here was Virgil is the $1 Million Man's like valet, bodyguard. I don't even know. I guess he has him do a bunch of degrading stuff. And this is supposedly Virgil's. They never really say it's like his in-ring debut, but they mention repeatedly that Virgil doesn't have a lot of in-ring experience. Yeah. So, strange. I don't know if I was just in a better mood when I was watching this one, but I thought this was a pretty solid match. Maybe it's just because I like Dustin and Dusty, but they were very well liked. DiBiase is not. people seemed to like Virgil. I guess maybe there was something going on in TV leading up to this where we could see that Virgil was kind of like annoyed by DiBiase.
He was just so abused for so long that you have to feel bad for the fucking guy. Who wouldn't?
Of course there was a moment where, I mean, there were a few moments where, DiBiase was bossing Virgil around and talking shit to him, and I think Virgil accidentally punched it. Like DiBiase was holding Dustin in front of him, and Dustin ducks out of the way, so Virgil punches DiBiase in the face. That got a big reaction. So it seemed, without knowing what was going to happen, it seemed like, oh, okay, this seems to be the opportunity for Virgil to maybe turn against DiBiase and become a baby face. And so, yeah, the match, I enjoyed the match. It's not like it was like earth shattering or whatever. I think the majority of it was like the bad guys attacked Dustin's knee. Mm-hmm. And so he was kind of the one taking a lot of the punishment for a while, and Dusty came in.
Dusty was really concerned about Dustin's knee, right? So that kind of led to a distraction, right?
Yeah. And then eventually, after Virgil had punched DiBiase, they were starting to disagree, but DiBiase just kind of got a pin on Dusty. I don't even remember what happened. It wasn't like there was a finisher or anything. He just pinned him and beat him.
He just rolled him up because he was paying too much attention to if his son was okay, and he kind of got it caught by surprise. But Virgil finally snaps because DiBiase puts the $1 million belt down on the ground and tells him, pick it up, or what is it? Some degrading shit.
Yeah, he says, pick it up and put it around my waist or something like that. And, Virgil hesitates at first, and then he drops the belt on the ground, and then DiBiase gets mad at him, and, the crowd's very much like, come on, knock him out or whatever. And so eventually, Virgil picks up the belt and ba-bam.
Yeah.
Right in the face.
Yeah, it was good to see Virgil stand up for himself, because even watching it, I'm always uncomfortable by the Virgil DiBiase dynamic, and it's just he's playing servant, and I just feel like, considering the terrible history of like race relations in America, like they're playing off of that shit. Some rich fucking white guy telling this black guy servant, like, that he's basically a fucking piece of shit. You cannot not love to see Virgil turn on that. So I mean, at least I was like, okay, you gave me like a good moment. Like Virgil and DiBiase would go on to, have matches and feud, of course, but this was the moment where it happened.
Yeah, and it was a good moment.
I liked that moment was in this. The match was fine too, but and it was cool to also to see Dusty without the polka dots. But Dusty and Dustin were really just there to set up this $1 million Virgil feud.
Yeah, Virgil's face turn. And
I'm gonna drop the Meltzer ratings for the rest of this, because I'm not getting consistent answers on this shit. I don't want to give a little angry YouTube trolls more gotchas to come at me with. Then we had the Hogan promo. He cuts American rah rah rah, go war, kill the Middle East speech, dedicating the Rumble to all branches of the military. Talks about Kuwait a lot. Everyone, I remember, because I was like 9 years old or whatever when this came out, and I remember no one ever talked about Kuwait before or since the Persian Gulf War, but we were like real mad. We wanted to defend that Kuwait against Saddam Hussein. It was very important. So it kind of like reminded me of like, even when I was like a little kid, I was like, what is this? I never even heard of this fucking place. And now it's like the most important thing. Kind of took me back to what that moment was like. I guess you probably had maybe some promos and stuff, but really, I mean, after this, we're just getting right into the Royal Rumble match, correct?
Yeah, the Rumble. Yeah, and there was something funny when Hogan was talking to Mean Gene. Mean Gene was like touching his ear, and he's like, I've just heard word that Sergeant Slaughter has defaced the American flag.
Oh God!
Whoa, no, brother, no, or whatever he said. That's terrible.
Yeah, that's it. This whole thing is like, in the Royal Rumble, you don't like win a title shot or anything. That's not like, this whole thing is like, if Hogan wins, America, wins the war. Like that was like the implication, you know. That's kind of, and Hogan's talking about wanting to win, like that's what it is. If any other wrestler wins, you know, it's not American. It's only American. It's only patriotic if Hogan wins. Like, I'm real fucking irritated at this point because I'm like, well, we know what's gonna fucking happen, you know. It's like you guys aren't making it like some great mystery, and there's really nothing on the line. How does the Rumble start off? Is it Bret Hart that's in there first?
Bret Hart is number 1.
Yeah.
Dino Bravo
Bravo.
number 2. Yeah.
Dino Bravo, who would be murdered 2 years later by
that's right.
17 gunshots because of his mob ties. You know, I was looking it up, he was a cigarette smuggler for one of the Canadian mobs in Montreal.
Oh, wow.
And he was arrested during his smuggling duties. And because he was pending trial, they thought he would flip on the gangsters. So he went away. And that is some crazy dark shit. But yeah, he was in there.
Quite a meatball.
You're a wrestler. You have to also, yeah, he's quite a meatball for sure. You're a fucking wrestler and you have to also smuggle cigarettes. Like, what is Vince paying these guys? Like, come on.
If you're Dino Bravo, probably next to nothing.
Next to nothing, yeah. And then Greg Valentine was the third one. Some of my moments that I was excited about. Kerry Von Erich got in there. He's known as the Texas Tornado. He runs so fast for a man with one foot.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy that he had already lost his foot. And like I mean, I'm pretty sure he hid the fact that that his foot had been amputated the entire time he was in the WWF.
Right.
And if you know, and you're really looking, you can kind of tell.
Figure out which one. Yeah.
Yeah. But so crazy because like really you can't tell. Like unless you know and you're looking, it doesn't look like it at all.
There's one foot that's like taking more of the weight and like doing, you know what I mean? But it's so hard to tell. And
yeah,
it was a prosthetic, you know, foot on the bottom of the other leg. So, I mean, with a boot that goes up to his knees. So like, I'm sure whatever was happening there, you know, supported it pretty well. But I mean, he's a very strong guy. But I mean, he doesn't just like strut down to the ring. Like guy like run.
No, he ran. Yeah.
Sprint.
He like crazy and did so many things that you would never expect somebody without a foot would do. Terrible thing that, you know, I think he died like 2 years after this and
from suicide, I believe, right?
Yeah. Had already lost two of his other brothers or maybe even 3 at this point. Yeah. So it was good to see him though. And yeah, he was great. I mean, we had a lot of people.
Saba Simba looked really impressive physically. That guy cannot fucking wrestle. His punches looked awful.
Tony Atlas.
Is it really?
Yeah, Saba Simba is Tony Atlas. I don't know why they felt the need to give him this terrible gimmick, but that was Tony Atlas.
Maybe it's just because you can't do much in the ring because they have so many people. They have no entrances. There's no like music.
Yeah.
They're just running out. There's way too many. And everyone's just kind of like in the corners, but he's just punching and there's just like a lot of daylight, you know, in his punches. Like,
I mean, he got eliminated pretty quickly. So I think, you know, I feel like I've seen Atlas talk about how he had a falling out with Vince McMahon or something at some point. So I wonder if these are the repercussions of that, like turning into Saba Simba and being in the Rumble for like 2 minutes before getting eliminated.
I mean, that's weird that that's Tony Atlas because like I was just like, this guy looks awesome and he's like not doing shit. Like this guy should have had a huge career from the way he looked.
And he did.
Tony fucking Atlas. Yeah,
him and Rocky Johnson, man, they had a good thing going for a while.
The commentary is kind of unclear on the rules. The ref tries to like count wrestlers out.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Which when they get out of the ring, but that doesn't happen anymore. But like, it seems only fair that if you're gonna try to hide outside the ring. Because on a Royal Rumble, if you go over the top rope and both feet hit the floor, you're eliminated nowadays. Back then, it was over the top rope and like to the floor. But there was not like a really 2 feet.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think... Like now you've seen people like, what, who is it? Like Kofi Kingston and stuff. Like he jumps out, but he like lands on the table or he's walking with his hands. And it's like there's like a no feet. Now back then there wasn't really that. It was just kind of like if they eliminate you and you went over the top, then they can kind of count that. If you hang outside the ring, they'll count you out. I don't know. It was the early years.
A little funky. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did laugh pretty hard at Bushwhacker Butch came out doing his weird arm thing. He was just in the ring, like doing that for like 10 seconds around the ring in a circle. And then someone finally punched him in the face. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I think Butch got 10 seconds and Luke got only a few seconds also. But yeah, he's thrown out and he just walks right back with the same motion. Oh my God.
Yeah, Jake the Snake, he was after that. I was excited to see Jake the Snake. He was going after Rick Martel, the model.
Yeah.
And Martel rolled out of the ring, and I saw a referee come up to him. And did you notice it was Shane McMahon?
Oh,
Baby Shane McMahon was one of the referees. Yeah.
I missed that. Shane McMahon was roughing, huh?
Yeah.
Jake Roberts looked legitimately dangerous. Like you can really tell how like big and towering he is when he's in there with a dozen other guys, and he's the one you notice, right?
Yeah.
Other guys that were in there briefly. I mean, I'm jumping around, but like Tugboat only got about 10 seconds. The Warlord only got about 11 seconds.
Superfly Jimmy Snuka, I was kind of surprised to see him.
That was yeah, he was I was looking stuff up about him. You know, this was probably what, 7 or 8 years after he murdered his girlfriend?
I was just going to ask, yeah, was this before or after that? It says after.
1984 was that. So it's crazy that he's still free and doing some shit. Although he's pretty fucking old in this one. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't really do much. He got an okay reception from the crowd. Undertaker was here in one of his earliest incarnations with no makeup. His hair was still kind of red and curly.
But Undertaker was established in this a little bit. This is very early Undertaker. Yeah, red mullet Undertaker. Because Bret Hart lasted 20 minutes, and Bret Hart, was kind of a name, and he eliminated Bret. Yeah.
Yeah, he eliminated Bret very unceremoniously. It kind of felt like he went after Kerry Von Erich. Can't remember if he got him, but he eliminated Bushwhacker Butch. I don't know. By this point, I'm like, okay, this is a fairly standard Royal Rumble. I did miss small things about Rumbles nowadays. Well, I guess not small, but one small thing was I missed the sound of the buzzer, on the countdown. And then a larger thing is the fact that none of these guys had entrances or entrance music. I felt like was kind of a letdown.
They piled too many people in the ring at once. And I feel like the entrances give room for like
stuff to happen,
people to get eliminated, and and then when there's less people in there, if there's a lot and then it thins out, and then you can have few enough people in there to get some spots in and do some storytelling. But a lot of it was just like it was like a bunch of dudes hanging out resting in the corners. And then if you actually hone in and look at, okay, I'm going to look at Legion of Doom, what they're doing, or I'm going to look at or was it Legion of Doom?
They were in there eventually.
It's just like, oh, they're just they take a swing to someone's gut, and then the guy kind of like leans over, and that's like it's like a 10-second slow thing, stomp punch style. I don't know.
It's the thing about Rumbles I don't like is that there are many more opportunities for you to see something that doesn't look very good.
Yeah.
There were just a lot of like punches to people's backs or chests that were not sold in any way because like you don't know that they're coming. So
and you don't really hear it because the whole ring is just fucking making noise, right? Like, I mean, I'm not too privy to like how it works in a ring for the wrestlers, but I would imagine that stomp you do when you hit them in the back lets you know, like, I just got hit in the fucking back, right?
Yeah, I would assume so. I mean, there's too many people to make anything stand out. Occasionally there are moments in this one that do sort of stand out, but this is again a difference between then and now, where Rumbles now, and even like 7 or 8 years from the one that we're talking about right now, they have real moments where people come out and the focus is on them for 15 to 45 seconds. And I think that this match was sorely lacking some of that, because with a few exceptions, like when both the Road Warriors were out and they eliminated the Undertaker, like that got a big reaction. When Hacksaw Jim Duggan came out, that got a big reaction.
Dude, people love Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yeah.
And the crowd loves to say, oh! I do too, but yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hogan came out pretty late. I think he was like 24, number 24.
Macho King never came out.
Yeah, I guess, and that was kind of strange too, is number 18 never entered the match. And so when Tugboat came out as number 30, they were like, oh, that must be Macho King that didn't show up. And I guess it's probably because Warrior attacked him or something, but like we didn't see any of it. There was no value to us knowing that.
I guess we should just get to it, the finish.
Yeah, so let's see, who are the
match is like deep in the final stretch. The ring has thinned, but it's still like more people than would be in there if it was like modern Rumble. Hogan enters 24, biggest reaction of the night. And then the dominant heel presence at that point is the Earthquake, who has been portrayed as nearly unbeatable. I mean, he's a big, big boy. He's a big old fat guy. Huge, right? So you get kind of a Hogan versus Earthquake turning point. Hogan immediately targets Earthquake upon his entry. Earthquake overpowers Hogan, including hitting his finisher, the Earthquake Splash. Hogan sells briefly, but then, of course, does his Hogan Hulk up routine, the shaking, the finger wag, the no-sell offense. Hogan attempts the body slam. He fails at first. Second body slam attempt, succeeds. Hogan gets Earthquake over to the ropes, clotheslines his ass out, eliminates him. But it's not over. There's still people in the ring. But that is sort of like the decisive, heroic feat of the match, I would say. Like now Hogan is unstoppable because he's beaten this unstoppable big man. After Earthquake's gone, the remaining competitors are a bunch of like, guys that have been there forever that are tired in the ring.
I think Earthquake was the last guy. Interesting. This was the first time in Royal Rumble match history. Well, I guess there had only been 4 or 5 at this point, where at least 1/3 of the field all lasted for at least 20 minutes or more during the match.
Yeah, what else was there? Oh, Rick Martel lasted the longest in this. He was in the thing like almost the entire.
Yeah, 52 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I also think it's interesting that, so out of these 30 entrants, 14 of them are no longer with us. So
wow.
I was just looking at this, like how many of these, so most of these guys were born like around 1960, give or take, about like the age of my parents. Like they would be like in their, mid fucking 60s now, but they're all fucking dead, and the average age, I guess I'm a dark person. I looked at this. So the average age of the people that aren't alive, the average age of death was at death was 51 years old. So you got Dino Bravo, Kerry Von Erich, Jimmy Snuka, British Bulldog, Road Warrior Hawk, Road Warrior Animal, Macho Man Randy Savage, Crush Earthquake, Perfect, Neidhart, Bushwhacker Butch, and Hercules are all gone. So that's some crazy shit. Wrestlers live a wild fucking dangerous life, apparently.
Yeah. Well, and they abused their bodies. They abused steroids and painkillers and alcohol and drugs. And
yeah,
good that it's not like that anymore.
But yeah, so the Royal Rumble, it's the night WWF kind of sacrificed Warrior and cleared the way for Hogan to save America at WrestleMania.
Again.
and that's pretty much that. It was 65 minutes and 17 seconds. Total, and minutes of survival ranged from 52 minutes down to 4 seconds, depending on if you were the model Rick Martel or if you were that Bushwhacker guy. So I thanks Nick for having us watch this. It's always fun to like kind of just get that little time capsule of history, but this is, as much as I love any wrestling, even bad wrestling, I'd put this more on the bad side. I guess we can go ahead and get into the grapple grade. Fast forward, play, or rewind is our 3-tier rating system. Fast forward being boo, play being yay, and rewind being this was awesome. I'm going to go ahead and say fast forward on this just because it was really kind of like a pro-war propaganda Hogan, like a lot of things that I just don't really stand by. I do say I like to see this lineup. I like to see all these guys because I remember them and they're nostalgic, but I don't think this was the best presentation of almost anybody involved, with the exception of maybe the Rockers, but they're not what I remember them as. So what say you, Aaron?
I will agree. I was gonna give it a fast forward before we started recording, but now that now that you have given it one, it confirms my idea that this was just okay. I'm sure there are better pay-per-views from this time period. Like you, I will say that I recognized a lot of people from this pay-per-view, just either by name or from when I was actively watching as a very young kid. But yeah, it just, nothing really stood out as being amazing to me. It was another Hogan winning, Hogan is the best, blah, 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 which has its place in time, but to me feels a little old. But especially by this point, because, I mean, WrestleMania 1, wasn't that like 85? When you have somebody on top for that long, it can get tiring. I think this is how people felt about Cena in the PG era, when it was just like 7-8 years of Cena always kind of climbing back to the top. And of course now we look at it and we're like, oh, it was so
You all right?
Death is coming for me. Yeah, I think.
The ghost of Hogan is choking you out.
I guess so. Oh, geez. I don't even remember what I was saying.
As long as he doesn't drop the leg, he'll be all right.
Yeah, that's right. Big dude only.
And we always love to hear from you out there, the Grapple Gang. You can reach out to us a multitude of ways. Our favorite way is by calling 626-657-SLAM.
Pick up the phone.
You can call 626-657-SLAM and leave us a voicemail. It'll take you straight to our Google Voice line. We won't pick up. You can just cut a promo on us. Cut a promo on Aaron. Cut a promo on me. Tell us what we're right or wrong about, what you want to hear us break down next by way of vintage pay-per-views. You can also reach out to us via email. We are grapplecitypod@gmail.com. We are also at Grapple City Pod across social media. It's Threads, X, TikTok, Instagram, you know the fucking thing, all the things that people go to scroll at Grapple City Pod. And you can probably find us another way, but I can't remember. I have some correspondence here. I was doing something you probably shouldn't do if you're a podcast host. I was digging through the comments on YouTube during the break, and I got some angry trolls here. So Steve-O at Steve-O976, he was upset by one of our recent episodes where we said that Ray Traylor in WCW was a stupid fucking name. Why would you call someone that? Why would you make up that name? Who we now know as the Big Boss Man, of course, but he said, that was a horrible name. Say that to Big Boss Man's mother. The Big Boss Man was called Ray Traylor because that was his real name, idiots. Do some research, you bunch of marks. Just like other wrestlers use their real names, such as Kevin Nash, Bret Hart, Scott Norton, Scott Hall, etc. All right, Steve-O. Wrestling names are still character names. We stand corrected. We didn't know that Ray Traylor was Boss Man's real birth name.
Ray Washington Traylor Jr.
Whether it's real or not, acting personally offended and getting all unhinged on the internet over a dead wrestler on behalf of his most likely dead mother. Bro, who's the real mark here? But thank you for listening nonetheless. We appreciate that you spent, a good hour.
We appreciate your patronage. And yes, we make mistakes. I didn't know that was his real name. I will say, if your real name is not an interesting name, maybe pick a different name to wrestle under. Just saying. Like, if I wrestled as Aaron Fink, that'd be boring as shit. They'd be like, who's this stupid idiot?
I mean, Yeah, it's still a character. If you decide to use your real name as a character, that's cool. But I mean, someone still made that decision. I mean, he could have been, Bubba. Wasn't he Bubba something at one point?
He had a lot of names. Big Boss Man, The Man, Big Bubba Rogers, the
Bubba
Boss,
Rogers. Yeah.
the Guardian Angel. The fuck? The Guardian Angel.
Guardian Angel.
And his last War Machine. I don't know when that was.
Yeah. No, I like, that's one thing I like about wrestling. Like, it's not serious. If you want to get upset about wrestling, it's way better to get upset about that than to some other shit where you could actually be like, you go to football and you disagree about teams. Like sometimes people like fucking actually beat each other down. I guess that can happen in wrestling. I guess I've seen it, but like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's not a big deal. But Charles Warfield 7520 on YouTube, he commented on one of our Thanksgiving matches. Thanksgiving was December 28th in 1985. Interesting. Dude, verbal slip. Everyone knows November is when Thanksgiving is. You got me. But when you talk for an hour, sometimes you have verbal slips. I know that you probably don't have that many people to talk to other than the comment section of YouTube. But thank you also to Chris Warfield 7520 for your patronage. We always love to hear from you, the Grapple Gang.
Hey, all press is good press, right? Isn't that what they say?
Absolutely. So this one was more or less my call with a little bit of help from Nick. So Aaron, you'll be picking the next pay-per-view that we watch for next week. What do you want to do on that one? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I was thinking about it as I was watching this one. I want to do another Royal Rumble, and I think this was actually a recommendation from one of the Grapple Gang as well. I want to do Royal Rumble 98.
I'm excited for that one. I think that's probably one of the highest regarded Rumbles.
It's a fun one for sure. I mean, the Rumble match is good, and the undercard and all of the other matches I seem to remember being decent. We have Vader against Goldust, the artist formerly known as Goldust. Was that
what he's billed as?
That's what he's billed as. We do get a 6-man tag team with Little People wrestlers, with Sonny as the special guest referee. Rock against Ken Shamrock, Legion of Doom versus the New Age Outlaws, and the Rumble itself, and then Shawn Michaels against The Undertaker in a casket match. This is the casket match where Shawn Michaels hurt his back and thought he had to retire.
This could be a really good one. Is it? Am I seeing back of Stone Cold's head?
Yep.
With nails in it as the thumbnail? That's cool.
Yeah, it's a good one. This one holds a special place in my heart because I think it might be the only WWF pay-per-view that I purchased on pay-per-view and watched live as a child.
Wow. That's cool.
Everything else, I'm pretty sure I went and grabbed it from Blockbuster Video after it had already come out on VHS. So yeah, I remember this one fondly. It was very fun.
Well, thank you everyone for listening. Thanks if you hung out with us through the short break there with our bonus episodes in December. We will be back in action fairly often for a while now. We'll be back at you very soon.
Catch you in the cheap seats. Adios.